Serving Amherst and Amherst Township, your hometown television station, Amherst City Cable.
Well, hello, sports fans of Northeast Ohio, the home of the national champion, those guys from the Big Ten. I'm your host, Ty. Welcome to the Sports Show. I'm your host, Ty House, and this is the big homie.
Alex Squares. What's up, Ty?
How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing well. Because
No Packer jersey?
it's Packers green.
Packer green?
Yeah.
Made a little
It's if you blended the green and the yellow together is what this shirt is.
more of a Seattle Seahawk green.
You know, you're actually right about that, but you heard what I said. It's a blending of the two colors. What is so funny?
That's right. We have a Super Bowl. We have two Super Bowl contestants now. The Super
Yes.
Bowl is set. We have the New England Patriots, the team of the 2000s,
Yeah.
versus what some consider the best defense of the 2000s. We ain't going to put them in the ever category yet.
Not yet. I mean, it's been 2 years of elite level play.
Yeah.
So
But we're going to say of the 2000s.
Yeah, sure.
Because we put them in the category with the Ravens.
Yeah,
The Baltimore Ravens.
absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
So we got the Seahawks in New England set for a February 1st showdown in the Arizona desert. Who you got?
Yeah.
Let's just start it off right there. Who you got?
whoa. Already?
Yeah, we ain't gonna know. We get into all the statistics and all the verbalage and all that later. Who you got?
I think it's New England.
You got New England?
I think it's New England, and I don't think it's close.
You think New England gonna get some payback for Denver last year?
I certainly do. Well, just look at the two games that we had over the weekend. We had the Seahawks come out, look just awful. Couldn't even muster a point in the first half.
I beg to differ, but I'll let you finish.
Okay. They looked horrible. Couldn't muster a point. Russell Wilson threw like 3 interceptions in the first half. I looked at it at one point. He was like 2 for 9 for 12 yards and 3 interceptions. Like, how does that happen? How does a team that's at this level do that? I mean, his numbers were Johnny Manziel-esque. But then, second half comes around, the Packers thought they had won, and they're like, you know what, Seattle? Here you go. When New England just came out and obliterated
Let me before you go to Indy, let me stop you on the Seattle Green Bay thing. What is Seattle? What did we just put them in?
It's a city.
What is the Seattle Seahawks? What is their team? When we say Seattle Seahawks, what's the first thing come to your mind?
Defense.
You know what they did in that first quarter? How many times was Green Bay in the red zone?
Several.
In the first half. Who stood up?
The
Seattle defense.
Yeah.
We
still gave up 16 points in the first half.
This dude, Russell Wilson, has only thrown for 5 300-yard passing games
This year?
in his career.
Really?
In his career.
That's interesting.
So we wasn't expecting Seattle to come out and put 50 on Green Bay.
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting them to. Well, they put like 48 on him in the first game of the season, you know. But that's neither here nor there.
I was impressed to see Green Bay get the ball at least 3 times
Yeah.
in the red zone and come up with field goals.
Well,
I
that's the
said,
thing.
this defense is amazing.
Well, that's the thing is that
The first time you tried to test Richard Sherman, are you going to try to throw a touchdown on me? You mad, bro?
they actually went at him far more often before he injured his arm in this game, which was peculiar to me. I mean, when he was clearly holding his arm. I guess you only really need one hand to play cornerback, but he was holding his arm up, and they weren't throwing at him at all the second half. But it was impressive that Green Bay was even able to get the ball into the red zone. A lot of teams can't get the ball in the red zone.
It wasn't that they got the ball in the red zone. They were given the ball in the red zone.
That's true.
By Russell Wilson and couldn't capitalize.
Well, they got field goals. They got points. So that they got 16 more points than Seattle. But then in the first half,
if you got the ball on the 1 yard line and you come away with 3 points and you lose in the NFC Championship game, that defense stood up and did its job.
Absolutely.
Because you were supposed to have 14 more points than Green Bay.
Well, who knows what would have happened on fourth down, you know?
It shouldn't have got the 4th down. You got the ball with 20 yards to go.
I mean, yeah, it obviously shouldn't have,
And you
but
is the
we see that
Green
all the
Bay
time.
offense. You supposed to put points on. You supposed to put 7s. At least,
we know-
at least
we-
one of those 3 drives inside the 20, Green Bay was supposed to put 7 up and
mean,
didn't.
we
The
knew-
defense, what Seattle is about, stood up.
Yeah, and we know that, and that's what they did. And that's
then shut 'em down.
Luckily, yeah.
And then shut them down.
Yeah, they did in the second half. That's
That
for sure.
defense won that game. Russell Wilson got a lot of credit for the last 5 or 6 minutes, but that defense won that game, just like we knew that they would. So I'm just saying all that to say I beg to differ with the blowout by New England coming up.
Oh, no.
I don't see it.
Well,
I don't
New
see
England.
it.
Well,
it's going to be a great game, but I don't see a blowout.
I didn't say blowout. I said it wouldn't be close. Blowout and a not close game are two different things. So let's get that straight.
Well, straighten that out for us.
I think you see a 10 to 14 point victory by New England in the Super Bowl.
That's a blowout, fellas, folks. We got the defense of the Seattle Seahawks, so we just made these guys
New
one of the
England
best
did to
defenses
Indianapolis
in the
was
league.
a blowout. Winning by 30, that's a blowout.
We
10 to
all
14.
expected that. We knew New
I
England
certainly
didn't have
didn't expect that.
We knew New England didn't have a defense coming into the playoffs.
New England didn't have a
I'm
defense.
sorry, Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No.
And
Well,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
scared of New England's
But
defense at all.
How could you not be?
Oh, I'm not fearful of those guys at all. They have
Oh,
two
they have
quarterbacks.
they have a really nice unit out there.
Seattle gonna run that ball right up.
They're gonna run it right into Vince Wilfork and
Who?
win. Vince Wilfork and
He-
Chandler Jones
he
and
got other
Rob
things on his
Ninkovich,
mind.
and then one of the
Who?
rising stars in this league, Jamie Collins. So you got Gerard Mayo. You got
none of
a
those
very,
guys,
very,
none of those
very
guys,
solid defensive
none of
front
those guys
to go
scare
ahead with
me.
an elite secondary. That's
None of those guys
There is not a
scare
single
me.
hole in that defense.
None of those guys scare me.
Well, they should be afraid. Well, Seattle should be scared.
They shouldn't be.
Yes, they should.
No, they shouldn't. What they do is what New England not good at. New England good at shutting down your offense from the outside, but we going straight up the middle.
Yeah. Well,
I'm saying we, like I'm going for Seattle. I don't care who wins the Super Bowl.
They're going to have, a fair amount of success. They have a very, very good running game. It's what they do. It's what their offense is predicated on. But
And
this
two good tight ends.
But the new, who?
Seattle. They got some good tight ends up
Two?
there. 2 of them.
I mean, I would give you maybe Luke Wilson, but outside of him, I'm not sure.
Tight ends don't just catch the ball. They block too.
I guess.
For a good running game.
Yeah.
An amazing running game. Their quarterback is a pretty good runner.
Oh, absolutely is. Probably the best in the league right now.
Tight ends, 2 of them.
No,
Good ones.
I think Russell Wilson is going to be he is going to be the difference maker in this game for Seattle if they're going to win. He's going to have to. I mean, the Seattle receiving core is pretty nondescript. I mean, most common fans, couldn't even name a single receiver that they have on their roster. And then, as you stated, New England has the elite secondary. And you know what Bill Belichick likes to do offensively. He's going to try to attack the weakness of the defense that he sees, and then defensively he's going to try to take away whatever that team does best. So I think that they sell out to try to stop the run. I think you see a lot of single high safety, a lot of cover one from New England in this game, because I think you're going to see a lot of men in the box. I think they're going to leave their cornerbacks out there on islands against the underwhelming receivers that Seattle has, and I think I think that that's going to be a recipe for success if that's what they do. But no matter what they do, I still think they're going to win.
Everything you just said sound like I heard from you last year with the Denver thing. This is
Whoa.
what Denver's gonna do. This is what Denver's gonna do. All the pundits, not just you, I'm not gonna put it just on you, but all the pundits. Denver's gonna stop this, and nobody gave this defense of Seattle any credit. I'm telling you, this is gonna be a 3-point game at the max.
Maybe.
At the max.
That's how Vegas sees it.
If you see somebody scoring over 25 points, something went wrong. Somebody got hurt. This is going to be this is going to be like a heavyweight championship fight
I mean,
in a phone booth.
public perception will tell you that. I mean, you look at Vegas. I believe they have it as a pick'em right now. Nobody getting anything.
Nah, Seattle's 2.5.
2.5. Well, that changed from when I saw it, but still, you look at 2.5 spread. You don't see that very much in Super Bowls. You're usually a little bit wider than that in any game. 2.5. That's a really, really small spread.
What you got to say about this deflating of the balls?
I don't care. They
You don't
beat them by
care?
30.
They beat them by 30.
40. What was it? 45.
So, but what if it do come out that the balls was deflated?
I mean, wasn't Indianapolis playing with the same balls?
I mean, but it's still it's illegal. The ball's supposed to weigh a certain amount. It's supposed to have a certain amount of air in them. So, I mean, if it just came back New England just always got a little scar on whatever they do.
Yeah, they do. They really do. Which, I mean, whatever.
I mean, Spygate,
if they can get away with
Tuck
it,
Rule,
you know?
deflated balls.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't won a Super Bowl since Spygate ended. That's what
always
everybody's been
something.
talking about. But the deflated balls thing, that's not a concern to me.
It's always something. Coaching search. Coaching search. All the positions are filled up except for one.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons. They're waiting on
Dan Quinn.
who is the coach of the best defense of the 2000s.
And we
We're
look
gonna
at-
ask New England in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and we look at Gus Bradley, a guy who was he was the guy that actually made that defense what it was. We see him in Jacksonville not having a whole lot of success right now. That team's completely devoid of talent. But Gus Bradley's a really, really good coach, and I think has his team going in the right direction. Dan Quinn hopefully can do something like that. I don't know. I don't know much about the guy. I know he took the reins over of a defense that was elite and kept them elite. So who the hell knows how that's going to translate into a head coaching job.
Leave Terrell Austin alone.
Who is that?
If you don't know, you don't need to know. Leave him alone. We don't want him to leave. Doug Marrone. I got to speak on Doug Marrone again. This guy was hired today by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
What a clown this guy is.
As an assistant head coach / offensive line coach. This dude took the buyout in Buffalo, $4 million. He said he looked around at the landscape and seen all the openings. The 49ers.
He's like, I got
the
this.
Bears. Oakland. Just teams just abundant.
Oh, yeah, so many jobs. He's got to get one, right? Atlanta.
He is the assistant coach, offensive line coach
It was a weird title, too.
for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is the most high-paid assistant in the league, though.
Good for him. Good for him.
$4 million. You know why he didn't get a job.
I mean, he had something cooking up there in Buffalo, too. I don't know what.
You know why he didn't get a job? 'Cause they ain't loyal.
Yeah.
You got to show some loyalty, man. You can't just put a winning team together and nobody knows why.
Yeah. That's just life.
You didn't even say the owner sucks,
Yeah.
the city sucks.
Say something.
Just don't want to be here anymore. Look, I'm just gonna take my $4 million and I'm out of here.
He was betting on himself, like Max Scherzer.
We're gonna talk about that in a few
Okay,
minutes.
cool.
We'll come back. We'll talk about that. Some NBA, some NCAA, and I'm gonna give you my Super Bowl pick, even though y'all already know who I'm going with. We'll be right back. It's the Sports Show.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year? The answer, 3 out of 4.
75%.
That's right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Our town, our TV. Amherst City Cable.
Welcome back to the Sports Show. Before we go any further, I'm gonna go and put it out there. Not a big New England fan, even though Tom Brady is a Michigan man.
How do you not love Tom Brady? Like, is there
Tom Brady wear Uggs.
a
Enough
cooler
said.
person on the planet?
I'm going with Seattle. Me and Russell Will's son is the same height. About the same skin complexion.
Pretty
If I put
close.
some little Jerry curl juice in my hair, me and Russell Wilson could possibly be twins. So I'm going with Seattle.
On that basis.
The boy gonna win MVP too. We at the midway point of the NBA season.
Yeah. No one's beating Golden State.
We
man.
supposed to talk about Cleveland Cavaliers and San Antonio Spurs, maybe the Los Angeles Clippers. Instead, we got to talk about the Golden State Warriors and the Atlanta Hawks. I have no problem talking about Golden State. I love Golden State.
Yep.
Only thing I want to say is I wish Mark Jackson was still the coach, but I love Golden State. Atlanta, I look at they offensive starting five, and I'll be like, the best team in the East?
NBA's got to be pissed about that.
Then I'll be looking at the people coming off the bench, and I'll be like, huh? This is the NBA D-League.
It looks like it sometimes. It really, really does.
The number one team in the league. Coaching, if you listen to your coach and you buy into what your coach says, this is Spurs East.
Well, the top two assisting teams in the NBA are Golden State and Atlanta. So that tells you a lot of what you need to know.
Check it out. Golden State is Spurs West.
Yeah, we got Spurs East and Spurs West, and neither of them are the
All
actually
of
the
these
Spurs.
guys are disciples of Popovich. And they're basically running his system.
That's what I was going to ask you. Golden State's been absolutely dominant this year.
Right.
Number one offensive team, number one defensive team. Like, that's a pretty good formula for success, right? Are they this good with Mark Jackson?
They weren't that bad with Mark Jackson.
No, they weren't.
And yeah,
Yeah?
I think they're this good with Mark. They didn't have a bad season last year. They won, 50, 60, 55 games last year under Mark Jackson.
Yeah.
And I say that to say, look out, Cleveland.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just, they're a mess. You were right. You were right. I have no trouble saying that. You didn't see this team as the dominant force
Not this year.
that everyone thought. You're right. Yeah, that's what we're talking about this year. I mean, everyone sees this amalgamation of talent, and they think, okay, how could they not be absolutely dominant? You saw beyond that, and knowing that with a first-year head coach that's never coached in the NBA before.
In the NBA before.
You saw that it goes beyond talent, that it goes to depth, it goes to coaching, it goes to experience, it goes to camaraderie, and they don't have too much of any of that right now.
I mean, the team, well, you got to realize the trade deadline isn't for another 3 weeks. And they made some really interesting moves over the past couple of weeks, which I think is going to help the team, because they were already a veteran-laden team. Everybody tried to say Cleveland was a young team. They're not. They only have maybe 3 or 4 players on a team to 4 years or younger experience.
Yeah.
Everybody, they got Sean Marion, like Mike Miller. Those guys are...
James Jones.
Those guys played when Clyde Drexler played. Like,
They played bingo together.
I mean, who is Jermaine Jones? I mean, wasn't he like the protege of Reggie Miller?
No.
Yes.
James Jones?
He came in the league, he was drafted by Indiana.
When he came into the league, oh, okay, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
He was Reggie Miller's protege.
Right.
That's where he get his jumper from.
But didn't he come into the league as a defensive guy?
Man, he's a cheerleader. That's what he is.
I mean, that's
he's
what
pom-pom man.
I mean, we talked about it. How like, I had a huge issue with Mike Miller, the Mike Miller signing and the James Jones signing, just bringing LeBron James up these guys because he wants them there because he's friends with them or something.
I kind of got the idea. They're both shooters. They can stroke it, but I mean, you only want those. You only want your shooters to play 12, 14 minutes a game. Those are situational players. We in a certain situation. I need my shooters on the floor to spread the court.
Sure, they shoot.
That's it.
They
That's
don't do
all
much
they
of anything.
do. The whole thing with Kevin Love. He's a shooter. You don't do anything else.
Folks, everyone, I have a pretty silky smooth jump shot. Okay? Not gonna lie about it. You don't see me out there because I can shoot. You know why?
Why? Oh.
Because I can't do much. Because I can't do much of anything else. Just like those two bums. At least I'm probably a nicer guy in the locker room.
Well, see, Mike Miller is going to be a coach. So you kind of, when he's on the floor, he's kind of putting people in the right position. You supposed to be over there. You supposed to be playing defense, Mike Miller. And Jermaine Jones, he's just like I said, that's pom-pom, man. You know, we put him in the game when you're down
awesome.
20.
Yeah,
And
right.
go on and let it fly, or, you know. But, I mean, and then when you look at the top 3 teams in the NBA, we just said Atlanta is Spurs East.
Yep.
Golden State is Spurs West. Guess who's the 3rd best team in the league?
Record-wise
I'll
or
wait.
power ranking-wise?
Power, we don't talk records. Records go out the window. We
Okay.
talk power rankings.
Okay. I'm going to
It took you
guess
that long?
the Houston Rockets.
No. If number 1 is East, number 2
Oh,
is
okay,
West,
okay.
the 3rd best team in the NBA has to be the Spurs.
Right, that's where all this came from, right?
It is amazing that the top 3 teams in the NBA this week, we just talking this week, are all Popovich's system.
Yeah.
Who is the 4th team? Memphis. You wouldn't be hard pressed to say that that's a San Antonio team too.
I mean, they certainly pass the ball a lot and play really, really good defense.
It's a European brand of basketball.
Well, isn't that what David Blatt was supposed to bring to the Cavs?
I think he was bringing a Russian brand. I don't know what he was bringing to the table. I mean, Dan Gilbert has made a bunch of bonehead mistakes in his
I will
ownership
say.
of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and this ranks right up there with the.
It really does. I mean, a lot of times people argue, you know, that his fandom gets in the way
So
of him actually.
my question to you is, do you can Blatt now?
I don't think you can do that. I think
You just made a bunch of moves, and when you made these moves, LeBron was hurt. So
Yeah.
do you give him an opportunity to see what these moves plus LeBron do, or do you can him now? You got to wait to the end of the season. You got to go through this.
I think so. To be honest, I don't know that they give up the 2 first-round draft picks for Timofey Mozgov if David Blatt isn't the coach. I think the connection that they have together had a lot to do with that trade.
That was a great trade.
I agree.
They tried to do it last summer, and
Yeah.
Denver.
I agree, it was a great
Denver
trade.
was holding tight.
But I think, because they knew what they had. I mean, he's a pretty solid player. He's relatively skilled at 7'1", and he runs the floor well, which is
You just said it yourself. He wasn't worth no 2 number 1 picks. I'm sorry.
Not-
Not at all.
No.
Not ever.
yes, in this situation, because worth is relative. To most teams in the NBA, no, he's not worth two first-round picks. But to the Cavs, a team that's supposed to win this year in everyone's mind, with a coach who has coached him before, on a team that's devoid of really a big man presence. And the 2 picks you gave away are not, for a couple years down the road. And we're looking at a Memphis and Oklahoma City pick that will probably be picks in the 20-25 range,
Okay, so outside of Timothy
Mozgov.
and Blatt's having a relationship together, you still gave up 2 first-round picks. And only thing you really brung him to Cleveland for is to protect the rim, right? Basically.
Well, not just to protect
You brung
the
him to
rim.
score?
I mean, he's going to score. He's going to score points. He's not going to go out there, block 3 shots, get 10 rebounds, and no points.
So what was your main purpose of bringing him to the team? I can't say that. Mogdolf.
To give the team something that it desperately needed, and that
Somebody to protect the
not
rim.
a lot of teams have. I mean, Timofey Mozgov, but when he first came into the league, he was a finesse offensive big man.
Until he
That's
got
all
dunked
he did.
on.
And
That's the only thing I know of him for is
that
him
was
getting
awesome.
dunked on.
That was awesome.
By just about everybody in the
Everyone.
league that dunked
And-
on
and
this guy.
trust me,
and it's
when-
because he protects the rim. He's not afraid to go up and try to block your shot.
Exactly. So it's just what I was about to say. He gets dunked on a lot because he's down there a lot where he's supposed to be, and he has a solid offensive game. He's got a nice little fadeaway 8-footer. He can hit hook shots. He can do these things. He's 7'1".
That's not what you brung him here for, though.
But
The only thing
that's
you
an
brung
added
him
bonus.
for
That's a bonus.
is to protect the rim. You brought Kevin Love in to do his job. You got Tristan Thompson in to do his job. And I'm saying all that to say this. You could have came away with a rim protector for less than 2 first-round draft picks. Because you could have went to Denver and gave up 1 and got JaVale McGee, who's a rim protector.
Is that a fact though?
I'm just saying.
Maybe
You
so.
could
I
have
don't
got
know.
a rim protector for a lot cheaper than 2 first-round draft picks.
But again,
and then the only plus was to me that I heard you say was the fact that him and Blatz have a relationship. Everything else you could have brung in Kostoff, the Kostoff dude they was trying to get from Memphis.
Yeah, right.
For just one pick.
Well, I think that this changes a little bit if Verjao hadn't gotten hurt.
No, because they were trying to get Mosdorf during the summer.
You're absolutely right, but they weren't as
shoulda
desperate.
did a 1 and a Verjao, and they could have got Mosdorf earlier in the season.
Well, who the hell knows if that would work? You know, they just gave Verjao an extension, so who knows if it might
Why
work.
do you keep extending Verjao? Why? Why?
I can't tell you, Ty. I'm just stating facts.
That's almost worse than bringing Mike Miller. I mean, we didn't get to talk no NCAA basketball. We got to talk in the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is a good, touchy subject right now. Everybody wants to talk about it. They lost 6 straight games. Now they went out on the West Coast. They
won
only
like
2, 3 straight.
Yeah, 3 in a row.
You know, and
like
they got the whole team together. So we're
that's
looking
the
for
thing.
big things.
They've won 3 in a row, and everyone's acting like it's fixed when it's not.
Man, they could be out first round.
Absolutely, they
Everybody
could.
dogging the East out about how weak the East is, but the East is Atlanta, Chicago, Toronto,
Washington.
Detroit, Milwaukee, Miami, before you get to Cleveland right now.
Milwaukee's better than them, and they're not playing with Jabari Parker.
We got to get out of here. We'll be back next week. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Super Bowl because it'll be a little bit closer to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Man, actually, the Pro Bowl is this Sunday.
Who cares?
So we got to go, man. That's
Alex Squires.
And I'm Ty House. This is the Sports Show. Peace.
Our town, our TV. Amherst City Cable.